Hi guys, welcome to episode 38 of Mark Anthony's Music Picks. Today I'm going to be doing an episode about sprinkles. And no, not those kind of sprinkles, although I do love putting those on my ice cream every night, especially during the summertime. I'm going to be talking today about DJ Sprinkles, aka Terre Thaemlitz. Terry was born or raised, I should say, in the central United States in Missouri. And because of that, from what I gather from watching interviews with him, especially the Red Bull Academy one, he felt like he didn't really fit in and that he was a little bit out of place. And if you look at his music, it's very much themed with pain. He uses his pain and the negativity that he experienced growing up as a way to kind of inspire his music. And he also uses his music as a way to deliver a message about what he has experienced in his life. The guy is an incredible musician, although he probably, if you asked him up front, wouldn't even consider himself a musician. He's very much along the lines of, I have no identity. He tries not to ascribe really to any theory. He just kind of puts his music out as a function of a way to survive and a bit of artistic expression in there as well. He uses very negative tones in his music, a lot of minor keys when he plays piano and does solos, and he'll often use spoken words or clips from old eras where homophobia reigned or transphobia reigned, or places where people just weren't accepted. And his music is a reflection of this dissonance that he has experienced for the majority of his life, or may even still be experiencing now. But I want to go through my top 5 Sprinkles picks because somebody requested this. It was one of my new viewers, Marcus, asked for me to do an episode on this, and it's totally low-hanging fruit because Sprinkles has so many bomb records. It was easy for me to cut out 5 of them here. So let's get started here. The first record I'm going to pick for you it's Kuniyuki's Shout. Now, Kuniyuki's Shout is a really crazy record on its own, the A-side. I originally bought this for the A-side because it's a complete trip, kind of mind-twisting track, and it's about 9-10 minutes long, really geared towards after hours and a little bit experimental and a little bit weird, but in a totally cool way. So I love that. When this record first came out, it sold out very quickly, and I remember the prices spiked up to about $80, and then they did a repress, and it kind of brought them back down to earth. But on the B side of this, you get a track called Between Shadow and Lights, which Sprinkles did a dub version of, and it's really cool. It's really smooth tech house, got some wonky percussion going on there, and it's, I think, good for an opening set. Just kind of like steady pace, nice rolling tech house. The value that you get for this record is awesome. I would say anything up to about $30 would make this worth it because of the A and the B side on there. My next pick is from the Queerifications and Ruins series. If you don't have any Sprinkles records and you need a place to kind of start and see if he's even an artist for you, I would start with the Queerifications series. This is Vinyl Sampler 4, and the track on here that I like is called Food of Love. Well, there's 3 versions of Food of Love on here, and one in particular is the Sprinkles Grub Dub. The Sprinkles Grub Dub has a lot of sub-bass and low-frequency bass lines in it, and that's something that Sprinkles is known for. you'll see that there's a common theme with this sub bass throughout many of his tracks. And I think it's what gives him like a real sense of authenticity with house heads that like really know house music and have been in the scene for a long time. It's that bass line. Like if you booked Sprinkles for a gig, I feel like he would just crush your speakers, and you better have a good setup there. The next record that I want to show you guys is from the Soullessness series. There's 2 records in the Soullessness series, and this one here is called it's called Homosexual Spirits, or Spirits Lose Your Hold. You basically are getting 2 versions of the same track on here. One has a little bit more percussion and would more keep the dance floor rolling, and the other one is a little bit more experimental with the kicks dropped out, but it's essentially the same track just with different layers removed from it. And the crazy thing about this record is it uses a vocal sample or a snippet of some sort, where the scene that I'm imagining for this is that there's a pastor in a church that is a completely misguided church, and he's got somebody kneeling in front of him, and he's got his hand on their head, and he's trying to like release their homosexual spirit. Like he's trying to make them ungay or convert them by some kind of religious process. And I think if I had to guess what Terry was going for with this, it's just how effed up it is that this type of thing existed or may still even exist in certain places in the world, and just how unaccepting people are of themselves. Aside from the kind of messaging that's happening in the track, it's tribal, it's dark, and it's really dramatic. And I think it's something that really just grabbed a hold of me when I first sampled it. It taps into my old tribal days, my old tribal spirit, and I just love the rhythm in this. Good stuff. On a brighter note, Sprinkles isn't always dark and full of pain in his music. Here he paired up with Mark Fell, and this is probably Sprinkles' most enlightened, or I should say bright, song that I've heard. It's very uplifting, sunny day, kind of happy spirits. I'm wondering if him pairing up with Mark Fell is what inspired that to go in a more happy, like uplifting direction, as opposed to down and tapping into pain. But this is really nice stuff. It's about 9-10 minutes long, and this would go really nice in a daytime rooftop set. It's the track specifically is called Insights, and it's the Sprinkles alt dub that you'll want to listen to on this one here. Finally, my favorite Sprinkles record of all time is another one from that Queerifications and Ruins series, and this is vinyl sampler number 1. It's Oyoko's Seashore. Now this again has another spoken word kind of dialogue that's happening in it, and it sounds like 2 guys are having a conversation. I was told, or I read on Discogs, that the original clip came from an episode of NYPD Blue, and it's basically 2 guys having a conversation about decisions in their life and needing to make new choices and heading into a new direction that's completely unknown, and they're not sure if it's going to work out. So it's kind of got this deep tie that most people could relate to. And I think the conversation could be interpreted in many different ways depending on what situation you might be in your own life when you listen to this.
Sun rising and setting. And the birds in the wind at the harbor. They're all here too, as much for you as for anyone else in the world. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. You're welcome.
Sprinkles gave his own interpretation of this, and you can read about it if you go to this release on Discogs. I'll give you the link down below. You can go and read what Sprinkles actually said about it, and you'll probably find that the way that Sprinkles intended this to come across isn't how you actually interpreted it, but he said he's also okay with that. He understands that people are just gonna hear it from different angles and see it from different perspectives. But this has a really smooth tone, and it's just a stunning record. Very popular. And I would also say, if you want to, maybe you could just fill out the entire Queerifications series and just get all 1 through 4, because I think there's some really stellar music in there, and it's a really good representation of Terry's music and his catalog overall. That's all I have for today, guys. I want to say thank you if DJ Sprinkles ever sees this episode. Thank you so much, Terry, for your music. I really enjoyed that Red Bull interview that you did for Red Bull Music Academy. Loved it. It was great to get all your insights and philosophies. And I'm looking forward to more records from you. Love it, man. And take care. Peace, guys. West episode. Somebody requested that we do a DJ Sprinkles episode. I don't like that. That pain and some of that... struggling today.